Aquarius workshop. Feel your love power. I start with a quote from Passwork Lecture 99 with the title Falsified Impressions of Parents, Their Cause and Cure. And the quote is as follows. Let us once again remember that man without love is withering away. It is not the love that you receive that is the most important thing. It is the love force in your heart that is the spiritual lifeblood you need. It is the driving force, in a good and healthy sense, that gives meaning to life. Without this love capacity, your life will be empty, meaningless, shallow. End of quote from Passwork Lecture 99. Every human being has the ability to let the power of love flow freely. This power of love enables us to give and receive, to connect, to rise above the little self, to be creative, and to find unity with all people. Loving is only possible if we can observe purely, and that again depends on the ability to be defenseless. Without defenses, we are open, receptive, relaxed, and fearless of anything that arises inwardly or outwardly, and the power of love can flow unimpeded. Then we are an Aquariusman who stands on his own 2 feet externally and internally. This person has healthy human relationships based on reciprocity, exchange and involvement. The Aquariusman does not create adversity because he has the inner will to be happy and bears responsibility for life. In this workshop we will explore, with a loving curiosity based on 3 themes from the Passwork lectures, how we can feel the power of love. I start with the first theme, seeing yourself purely. For fear of destruction, we dare not surrender to the power of love, and we are constantly alert. We are invited in all humility to look honestly at ourselves as we really are and not as we want to be. When we examine what seems most difficult in relation to others and with what shortcoming it relates to, then we can decide to remove this barrier for the sake of the power of love. The next quote stems from Passwork Lecture 21. Observe yourself daily when and how your faults manifest, not only outside, but in your feelings. Observe your reactions. By this reaction you will learn to judge how far you have come in accepting yourself without embellishment. You may also meditate how each of your particular faults is a direct hindrance of the unfoldment of love, for each fault is just that. It blurs the love force in the soul. If you proceed in this way, God will inspire you and guide you. You can be quite sure of that. End of quote from Passwork Lecture 21. Second theme, saying yes to life. Investigate the greedy, self-centered inner child who wants to get everything and give nothing, resulting in constant fatigue, apathy, depression, or rebellion. Question this part that only gets carried away in an unhealthy way and doesn't want to deal with people and their demands, and has a resistance to adult responsibility, love, and selflessness. Acknowledge, without shame, the no to life so that it can turn into an enthusiastic yes. The following quote stems from Past Work Lecture 108. There is the healthy floating of the state of being that comes from following the universal powers of love, from being active in life, saying yes to it. And there is the unhealthy version, the distortion in which one wishes to merely vegetate and not shoulder life at all. Only when you determine this unhealthy desire, concisely acknowledge it without self-deception, only then can you begin to find out why this seems so tempting. End of quote from Past Work Lecture 108. The third and last theme. Transform negative power into love power. As children, we were brought up with the falsehood that love and pleasure are wrong and dangerous. Now that we are adults, we maintain that prohibition ourselves by holding back the love force, so that the love force is distorted into a negative force, for instance, the duality fear-hostility. Thus we are trapped in a vicious circle that can only be broken if we accept the negative force, go through it, and transform into the original force of love. The last quote stems from Past Work Lecture 155. Love forces can remain alive only when the self is totally unafraid of itself. Giving up guardedness seems like annihilation, because when guardedness is given up, something other than the watchful ego cooperates in the process of living. Without this cooperation, life becomes impoverished. But the acceptance of this cooperation hangs on meeting that which is feared. Thus, in the vicious circle, the love forces are feared because they demand giving up the watchful, stilled, premeditating guards that make all spontaneity impossible. End of quote from Past Work Lecture 155. More information you will find on my website. I wish you peace and all the best. Thank you.